All right. What's up, guys? It's Zach here with Zach and Terra Photography. I know it's been a long time. Thank you so much for your patience. We've had a lot of big changes, a big start to the wedding season, of course, raising a newborn. My daughter was born a little over a month ago, and I'm finally getting a chance to come back and make a video I've wanted to make for a long time. Also, before we start, as you can see, I've made a few changes to my office, added some lighting, changed some stuff around. Added a few more things just to make it a little bit more comfortable in here. I'll do a little bit of a desk reveal at some point, but for now, I guess you can see the little bit of work that I've done so far, and it's paid off. It's made a big difference, and I like it. So today, we're gonna be talking about something that I think is extremely important to talk about for anybody who is considering buying a camera, getting into photography, content creation, whatever it may be. You may be a photographer already who's thinking about upgrading their gear, but this video is gonna be about what camera to choose in the year 2023. I feel like this is important because there's so much variety. There's a vast array of cameras that are coming out today. So many brands, Sony, Canon, Nikon, are just some of the names, but there's so many places to choose from. And it can be a bit overwhelming when making a decision, but there's a few things that you can do to kind of narrow down what's exactly good for you. So the first thing you can do to kind of narrow down your selection is to set a budget or a price range for yourself. This is important because the price of cameras can astronomically go up the more specs you get into. You can get as high as $8 grand for one single camera body, or you can go as little as $500 for a brand new camera body. But setting your budget is going to help a lot. So if you're a beginner, I would recommend maybe starting somewhere between $500 and $1,000 just to get comfortable with using a camera. And in this price range, you can still get a lot for the price. For example, and I'm a little bit biased, and of course, guys, this video is not sponsored at all. I am nowhere near popular enough to get a sponsor. I'm hoping to get one in the future, but I'm a Canon user, so of course, most of the examples I give you in this video are going to be Canon cameras. For example, Canon's new R10 that they released not too long ago is an amazing camera that does so much for under $1,000. It shoots in 24 megapixels, up to 15 frames per second, is great in low light, and that's just the photo capabilities. This is a camera that can do both photo and video. This camera can also shoot in 4K at 30 frames per second. Guys, 6 or 7 years ago, a camera that did that was going for about $5,000 to $6,000. This is a fraction of that price, and you still get a lot of good features that you can use with that camera. So if your budget is only between about $500 and $1,000, there's still a lot that you can do with that budget. Now, if you go up above $1,000, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000, this is where you start getting in between that professional and that beginner's range in cameras. Still a great amount of gear that you can get with this money. I say that this range is for photographers who already have gear, who are looking to upgrade and further advance themselves. A good camera in this price range is going to be Canon's R7, which, guys, again, has an enormous amount of capabilities. It shoots at 4K and 60 frames per second for less than $2,000. That to me is insane. Again, this is, a big advance in cameras this year as comparison to what it was 6 or 7 years ago when you had to purchase a 1DX Mark III, which is over $5,000 when it was released, to shoot at 4K 60 frames per second. So in this range, if you're looking to buy a good camera that has a lot of capabilities and great photo and video capabilities, Canon R7 is going to be a great choice for you. Now, if you go above $2,000, that's where I consider to the point where you're getting professional cameras and you're doing it for business reasons. So by this point, I'm guessing that money really isn't a factor. Of course, you don't want to go too far. You can go as high up as $5,000, but at this point, you pretty much have a wide selection of cameras that you can pick from, but it still allows you to narrow down what camera exactly is best for you. The next thing that'll help you kind of narrow down which camera is best is what you're going to use it for, or the purpose of the camera that you're buying. For example, if you're going to shoot sports, you're going to need something that has a high frame rate so that you don't miss out on any of the action. If you're shooting weddings, you want to find something that has good low light sensitivity, since sometimes you might be in dark spots. And if you're just a portrait photographer, you may want something that's lightweight so that when you travel, it's not too much bearing you down. So this is also something that'll help kind of narrow down the choices of what you're looking for. The last thing I'm going to talk about that'll kind of help you narrow down your choice is how compatible the camera is with what you already have. So today, a big thing that most camera companies are moving to is mirrorless systems. So mirrorless lenses, mirrorless cameras. So it kind of helps you to pick and choose which camera is going to be best for you. You may be able to go on a lot of used camera websites and find older cameras for lower prices, but keep in mind, buy something that's going to help set you up for the future. So if you buy an older DSLR, it may be good, it may work well, but before you know it, you may end up selling it because it's not going to be compatible with some of these newer lenses that are coming out. Now, that's not saying that you can't start out with some of these older DSLRs because they're still great cameras. I still even use some today as backups. But if you're trying to set yourself up for the long run, it may be important to find something that's compatible with your technology that you already have. Now, it would be pointless to talk about all this without telling you guys what camera I use currently. So the camera that I've used for the last year and a half is the Canon R6. This camera released about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And mind you, I upgraded from a Canon 5D Mark III. So this was a huge upgrade for me. Features like touchscreen sensitivity, being able to use touchscreen for autofocus, being much lighter in weight, having a higher frames per second. These are just some of the features that made a huge difference for me when I upgraded. It's a great camera. I love how it feels. I love editing the photos in Lightroom, how much of the highlights I'm still able to retain. But what's most important about this camera that it's done for me over the last year and a half is the introduction to the video side. Now, I've mentioned briefly about video capabilities of certain cameras, but before I had the Canon R6, I had no experience with video production at all because the cameras I had weren't really focused on video. Now, the Canon R6 still is a photo first camera, but this is a camera that can shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second. So I naturally had to take advantage of this feature. I started out by just playing around with it at home. Eventually, I was able to actually shoot a few weddings with it. And now we've added a video service to our business that's done pretty well. And so since we're talking about that, I would suggest you guys that if you're looking for a camera, definitely find one that has both video and photo capabilities. I feel like now in 2023, it's good to be well-rounded in both areas. You don't have to be exceptional in both, but in this world of content creation where more and more businesses are using Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, as their sole means of advertising, it's great to know how to use a camera for both photo and video. So guys, these are just some of my recommendations. I hope that this video added some type of value and knowledge to what you already had. I hope this helps you with making a choice by picking a camera, whether or not you're adding a camera for the first time or you're looking to upgrade your gear. I hope that this video helped you in some way. Please feel free to subscribe and like this video. It helps us out a lot. And of course, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.